Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're doing something really cool. We're breaking down the actual biological blueprint of the human body. Because think about it. Every single day, you are quite literally rebuilding yourself from the inside out. It's like an ongoing construction project. So we're going to look at the exact materials you use to do that, the 7 essential nutrient groups, and we'll explore exactly how they fuel, structure, and maintain this incredibly complex machine that is you.
Okay, so let's jump right in by defining our core concept, a balanced diet. Now, obviously, it's a phrase we hear all the time, right? But biologically speaking, your food isn't just a matter of counting calories. It's literally the specific physical raw materials required in the exact right proportions to keep your body functioning, and crucially, to prevent disease.
So here's how we're going to navigate this blueprint today. First up, fuel and structure. That's our macros. Second, we'll hit the vital vitamins. Third, essential minerals. And we'll wrap it all up with maintenance, which covers fiber and water. Let's get into it.
Starting off with Part 1, Fuel and Structure, also known as the macros.
First up on the macro list, we have carbohydrates. You'll find these in foods like root vegetables, pasta, and fruit. Basically, these are your body's readily available quick-hit source of energy. When you eat complex starches, your enzymes get to work breaking them down into simple sugars, like glucose, which fires up your cells with immediate fuel. It's your body's go-to energy source.
But, it begs the question, what actually happens if you eat more carbs than you burn? Well, the thing is that excess glucose doesn't just magically disappear. Instead, it gets converted into a storage molecule called glycogen, which gets packed away safely in your muscles and liver. But here's the real kicker. If those glycogen stores are completely full, the body has a backup plan. It converts that glucose into fat, locking it away in specialized cells for the long haul.
And actually, that perfectly transitions us over to fats. If you look at the energy economy of the human body, fats and oils are essentially highly dense savings accounts. Just to put this into perspective, while carbs and proteins give you about 4 kilocalories per gram, fats provide a whopping 9 kilocalories. That is literally more than double the energy density in the exact same amount of space.
But wait, fats are far more than just this massive energy reserve. They're actually structural masterminds. They insulate us against heat loss, they form the outer membrane of every single cell in your body, and they even create myelin. Now, myelin is a substance that literally speeds up how fast you think and react by insulating your nerve impulses. Crazy, right? Plus, they're the base building blocks for hormones, and they're absolutely necessary for your body to absorb vitamins A, D, E, and K.
All right, so the really crucial point about our third macro, proteins, which you get from meat, dairy, and pulses, is that they are the ultimate builders of the body. Digestion breaks them down into tiny amino acids, and these become the structural components of all your cells, literally building your skin, your muscles, and your blood. But here's a totally fascinating distinction. Unlike fats and carbs, your body actually cannot store excess amino acids. Any extra you take in just gets shipped straight to the liver and converted into glycogen.
So, okay, we've covered the bulk fuel, the macros. But I want to ask you a quick question that shifts our focus to the tiny keys that unlock all these cellular functions. What exactly happens when the microscopic pieces of our blueprint go missing?
That brings us to Part 2, Vital Vitamins, our cellular managers.
These are substances that we really only need in microscopic amounts, but make no mistake, without them, the entire system completely breaks down. Take vitamin C, for example, which you find in citrus and leafy greens. It has one major, absolutely vital job, forming collagen. This is the structural scaffolding that builds your skin, your tendons, and your blood vessel walls. It even strengthens the soft tissues in your mouth, which, believe it or not, quite literally holds your teeth firmly in place.
And honestly, this just brilliantly illustrates why understanding this whole blueprint matters so much. Because if you lack vitamin C for a sustained period, that collagen forms improperly. The scaffolding just collapses. And this leads to scurvy, a dramatic disease that famously afflicted sailors back in the day who spent months at sea without any fresh food. The symptoms were brutal: bleeding under the skin, severely swollen gums, and eventually the loss of those poorly supported teeth.
Now let's look at vitamin D. It's incredibly unique because it's literally the only vitamin our body can synthesize all by itself, and it does this using UV radiation from sunlight. But why is it so desperately important? Well, because without vitamin D, your gut simply cannot absorb calcium and phosphorus. And when that happens, you cut off the mineral supply to your bones, which leads to rickets in children or osteopenia in adults.
Let's move on to Part 3, Essential minerals, the structural ions.
First up here is iron, typically found in red meat, organ meats, and leafy greens. Iron's primary job is to form a molecule called hemoglobin. Hemoglobin hangs out inside your red blood cells and basically acts as the main transport vehicle carrying oxygen throughout your entire body. If iron is missing from your diet, your red blood cells just can't form properly, leading to a condition you've probably heard of called anemia. And when this happens, your body's tissues are quite literally deprived of oxygen. They're suffocating, which is exactly why anemia causes such profound fatigue, weakness, and irritability.
And then we have calcium. Now, calcium is vital for so much more than just strong bones and teeth. It's actually this unseen hero that allows your blood to clot when you break a blood vessel. It also plays an absolutely critical role in allowing your muscles to contract and your nerves to fire. Without it, you'd experience things like weak, brittle nails and seriously debilitating muscle cramps.
Which brings us to our final stop, part 4, maintenance, focusing on fiber and water.
So dietary fiber, which is often called roughage, is actually just the cellulose that makes up the cell walls in plant foods, things like fruits, veggies, and whole grains. Now, what's super fascinating here is that humans don't actually produce the enzymes required to break this stuff down, so it is entirely indigestible for us. It provides virtually zero energy. But acting as a sort of physical sweep of your digestive tract, it increases the bulk of the colon's contents, helps it retain water, softens feces, and significantly speeds up the time it takes for waste to pass out of your body. It is absolutely crucial for reducing constipation and just keeping your whole colon healthy.
And hey, speaking of water, here's an incredible fact to wrap your head around. Water accounts for 70%, or sometimes even more, of your total cell mass. You are, quite literally, predominantly walking, talking water.
Water is the ultimate biological solvent. It's the main component of your blood and your cellular fluids. It dissolves digested foods, minerals, and vitamins so they can easily pass right through your intestinal wall and straight into your bloodstream. It also dissolves waste products, like urea, so your kidneys can actually flush them out. And because you are constantly losing it through sweating, urination, and honestly, even just breathing, replacing your water is absolutely non-negotiable.
So, to bring this all together, understanding this delicate biological balance really empowers the choices you make every day. Every single nutrient we've talked about today, from those energy-dense fats to the micromanaging vitamins, plays a highly specialized, absolutely dedicated role. You aren't just eating a meal, you are literally rewriting and rebuilding your biological blueprint with every single bite you take.
I want to leave you with this final thought as you go about the rest of your day. Take a real look at your own diet. Look at your macros, your micros, and your maintenance crew, and ask yourself this: are you truly providing your biological construction crew with the right materials to build the absolute best, most resilient version of you? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep feeding your curiosity, and most importantly, keep feeding your body the right blueprint.